Have you ever paused to wonder how souls come into existence? How each of us, unique and irreplaceable, was crafted by the hands of an all-loving Creator? Today, we embark on a journey into the extraordinary vision of one of the most revered mystics of the Church, Saint Catherine of Siena. She was a woman whose deep love for God and profound wisdom continue to echo through the centuries. Born in 1347 in the small Italian town of Siena, Catherine was the 24th child of her parents. Yes, the 24th. From an early age, she stood apart from others. While her peers played and dreamed of earthly joys, Catherine's heart longed for something far greater. By the tender age of 7, she had already pledged her life to God, captivated by His love. Catherine was not just a saint. She was a visionary and mystic who spoke with God as one would speak to a dear friend. Through her visions and writings, she shared remarkable insights about God's infinite love, the sacredness of life, and His divine plan for every soul. Today, we will focus on one of her most inspiring revelations: how souls are created. Catherine described this process as the work of a God who is not merely a creator but a lover, madly and deeply in love with His creation. Imagine a God so in love that He carefully crafts each soul, pouring His very essence into it, making it unique, radiant, and full of purpose. This is the God Saint Catherine knew and loved, a God who sees not just a creature but a reflection of His own divine beauty. But Catherine's vision doesn't stop there. It isn't just about how souls are created but also why. Why does God create us? What purpose does He have for each of us in His grand design? And how does understanding this truth transform the way we see ourselves and others? Stay with us as we delve into the heart of Saint Catherine's revelations, a journey that will deepen your understanding of God's love and inspire you to embrace the sacred purpose He has written into your very being. Imagine a God whose love overflows like a river, spilling beyond its banks. This is the God Saint Catherine encountered in her mystical visions, a love so boundless that it defies comprehension. Catherine described God as madly in love with His creation, a love that doesn't follow logic or calculation but springs forth simply because He is love. In one of her visions, Catherine saw God as the eternal artisan, crafting each soul with His own hands. She spoke of how God breathes life into every soul with a love so pure and complete that it surpasses human understanding. She wrote, "You, eternal Father, are the fiery abyss of love, and it is out of this abyss that you created us. Imagine a love so fierce that it consumes itself to create beauty, to bring into existence something that reflects its own goodness." For Catherine, creation was not a distant, mechanical process. It was deeply personal. She described how God holds each soul in His mind and heart before bringing it into being, pouring His very essence into every life He creates. Each of us, she believed, is not merely made by God but is an expression of His love, a masterpiece of divine artistry. And here's something even more incredible. God creates not out of necessity, but out of sheer joy. According to Catherine, God doesn't create because He needs us. He creates because He wants us. His love overflows so abundantly that it cannot be contained. Each soul, she taught, is a unique reflection of this love, a living testimony to the infinite generosity of the Creator. In one vision, Catherine heard God say, "I created everything with love, and I care for everything with love." Imagine, the same God who made the stars and galaxies also crafted your soul with the same tender care and delight. To Him, you are not just another creation. You are irreplaceable, cherished beyond measure. This is the God Catherine invites us to know, a God whose love is so immense that it breathes life into every soul, a God who looks at His creation with infinite delight. And if this is how God sees us, how can we see ourselves or others any differently? Saint Catherine's vision doesn't end there. She believed that every human soul was created to be a perfect reflection of God's light and love. Catherine marveled at the sacredness of human life, describing how each person is made in the image and likeness of God. For her, this truth wasn't just a theological concept. It radiated through every fiber of our being. She wrote, "What made you create man? Love. You looked at yourself and fell in love with the beauty of your creature." Catherine's reverence for human life was profound. She believed that when God looks at us, he sees his own reflection, a reflection so beautiful and radiant that he is captivated by it. This is why every life is sacred, because every life belongs to him. And this sacredness isn't reserved for the virtuous or the holy. It is inherent in every person, the poor, the sinner, the outcast. All are loved by God with the same intensity because their worth comes not from their actions but from their Creator. Catherine urged her followers to look at others through God's eyes, with love and compassion, recognizing the divine spark within every soul. She believed that understanding the sacredness of human life transforms the way we live. It calls us to respect and protect life in all its stages, from conception to natural death. It challenges us to see beyond the surface and to love others not for what they do, but for who they are, beloved children of God. Catherine's vision also reveals a great paradox. While we are created to reflect God, we are also called to recognize his reflection in others. This understanding deepens our reverence for life and inspires us to be instruments of God's love, serving and uplifting those around us. In a world where life is often disregarded or diminished, Catherine's vision challenges us to see every person as sacred and to live in a way that reflects the infinite dignity of every soul. St. Catherine's teachings remind us that the love God pours into each of us is not meant to remain within us. It is meant to flow outward, connecting us to one another in a divine harmony. Catherine taught that, just as God loves us unconditionally, we are called to love others with that same boundless love. When we truly experience God's love, it ignites a fire in our hearts, a fire that must be shared to keep burning. In her writings, Catherine beautifully expressed that just as the soul is connected to the body, so too is each person united to their neighbor. She taught that one cannot truly love the Creator without also loving his creation. To her, love was not simply an emotion or feeling, but an active force, a living expression of God's presence within us. She believed that this love was the glue that binds humanity together. For Catherine, loving others was not just a commandment. It was an essential reflection of our purpose. When we love our neighbors, we participate in God's ongoing work of creation, affirming the sanctity of life and the divine connection we all share. This love transcends the barriers of race, class, and even sin, recognizing that every individual is a vessel of God's grace, deserving of dignity and compassion. She often spoke of a bridge of love that links humanity to God and to one another. This bridge, she believed, is built not through grand gestures, but through simple, everyday acts of kindness, forgiveness, and mercy. Catherine emphasized that even the smallest act of love holds eternal significance, as it reflects the very heart of God. In one of her most profound revelations, she explained how the love we show others is ultimately returned to God himself. She wrote, "What you do to your neighbor, you do to me." Take a moment to reflect on that. Every act of love, no matter how small, is a gift to God, a reflection of his infinite love for us. This vision is not only a call to action but a powerful reminder of who we are. We are created to be channels of God's love, vessels through which his grace flows into the world. When we love one another, we become part of something far greater than ourselves. We become participants in God's eternal plan, a reflection of his divine unity. Now, let us explore Catherine's understanding of God's unique purpose for every soul and how we can live out our calling within his grand design. Have you ever gazed at the stars and wondered if each one has a role in the vast universe? Catherine of Siena believed that just like the stars, each soul is created with a unique purpose, woven carefully into God's divine plan. To her, our existence was no accident but an intentional act of love by a Creator who knows each of us intimately. In her mystical visions, Catherine saw how God crafts each soul with care, envisioning its role in his eternal story long before it comes to life. She described God as an artist, painting each soul with unique colors and designs, so that no two are alike. She believed that each of us is a masterpiece, created to reflect God's glory in a way no one else can. Catherine wrote, "Your providence, eternal Father, has placed each one where they are most needed." These words reveal her deep conviction that God's plan is not random, but perfectly ordered. We are all placed in this world, in this moment with a specific mission that only we can fulfill. Whether through our families, our work, or our relationships, we are called to be active participants in God's design. But here's the beauty of Catherine's vision. God's plan for us is not a strict script we must follow perfectly. Instead, it is a living relationship, a partnership between creator and creature. Catherine believed that through prayer and trust, we can discover the unique path God has prepared for us. She saw this journey not as one of fear or obligation, but of joy, an adventure in growing closer to God and becoming the person He created us to be. Yet Catherine also taught that this divine plan isn't solely about our personal happiness. It's about serving others and glorifying God. She believed our purpose is always connected to love, loving God with all our hearts and loving others as He loves us. In her words, love transforms the soul into what it loves. When we align ourselves with God's will, our lives become a reflection of His love, touching the lives of those around us in ways we may never fully comprehend. What about when we feel lost or uncertain about our purpose? Catherine reassures us that God's plan is not hidden. It is revealed through the fabric of our everyday lives. She wrote, "God will make you a vessel of His mercy and an instrument of His love." This means that even in our struggles and doubts, God is guiding us, shaping us to fulfill the role He has prepared for us. So, what is God's plan for your life? Catherine's vision invites us to ask this question not with anxiety, but with trust. It reminds us that our lives have meaning because they are part of something far greater, God's eternal design, where every soul has a place and every life has a purpose. As we conclude this journey through the profound insights of Saint Catherine of Siena, let us remember this. Every soul is created by God with love, reflecting His divine image and called to a unique and sacred purpose. Catherine's revelations encourage us to see ourselves and others through God's eyes, with infinite love, dignity, and worth. Her vision challenges us to embrace our role in God's plan, to live as vessels of His love, and to share that love with the world. Thank you for joining us today. May God bless you, and we look forward to seeing you in our next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more faith-filled content.